All right, let's get right into this. We are talking about one of the most ruthless and, frankly, one of the most brilliant manuals for statecraft ever written, the Arthashastra. And I want you to forget any idea of some dusty old text. This thing is an ancient playbook for power that feels like it could have been written this morning. So get this. This text was put together more than 2,000 years ago by a legendary strategist and kingmaker, a guy named Kautilya, who you might also know as Chanakya. This wasn't just some philosopher. This was the mastermind who literally toppled an empire and installed a new one in its place. And, he wrote about everything from economics to, yes, even assassination. But there's one core idea in here, just one idea about foreign policy that has echoed through history and completely shaped how we think about the world. Now, most people hear this and they think, okay, yeah, that's a clever little proverb. They assume that this is pretty much the beginning and the end of Kautilya's foreign policy. But that's not even scratching the surface. It is so much deeper than that. So that leads us to the big question for this explainer. What if that isn't just a saying? What if it's the key to a predictive, almost mathematical system for gaining power? What if we're actually looking at ancient game theory? All right, let's see how this one little idea builds into something absolutely incredible. Because this isn't about philosophy. This is a cold, hard system of logic, and it was designed for a ruler with some serious ambition. And here's the core concept. It's called the Raja-mandala, or the Circle of Kings. And what it does is it treats the world map not as a collection of different cultures or people, but just as a geometric layout of power, a predictable grid of friends and enemies. So the whole model has one single starting point. It assumes that you are the ruler, the Vijagishu, which means the would-be conqueror. And your main goal, your only real goal, is to expand your territory and secure your power. Everything, and I mean everything, flows from that one ambition. And here is the first absolutely brutal principle of the system: proximity. Well, proximity breeds conflict. Any state that you share a border with is a potential threat. They want your resources, they can invade your land, so by default, they are your natural enemy, your Ari. And right from there, the logic just extends outwards. The state on the far side of your enemy? Well, that state becomes your natural friend, your Mitra. And why? It's simple. Because you share a common enemy. And just like that, this simple rule creates a predictable pattern of alliances that can stretch clear across a continent. So this is the Raja-mandala. And it isn't just one enemy and one ally. No. This logic expands outwards in these concentric circles. It identifies the enemy's ally, the ally's ally, the enemy behind you, the ally behind you. It maps this whole web of a dozen different states, and each one has a specific, defined role in your grand strategy. Kautilya himself gives us this incredible image. He says to think of it like a wheel. You are at the center. You are the hub. And your allies? They're the rim. And they're connected to you by spokes that go right across enemy territory. With a structure like that, you can use your allies to squeeze any enemy caught in between. It's a geopolitical vice. But Kautilya was way too much of a realist to just stop at geography. The system evolves into this cold calculation of relative strength. And this, right here, is where it really becomes game theory. See, knowing who your enemy is, that's not enough. You have to know if you can actually beat them. The entire strategy hangs on a rational, completely unsentimental assessment of raw power. So, this is the crucial point, right? Your next move is decided by a simple calculation. If that state next door is weaker than you are, the system says you wage war, you expand. But what if they're stronger? Then you make peace. You neutralize the threat, you form alliances, and you just bide your time, building your own strength until the tables finally turn. It's pure, cold calculation. And this quote just captures the pragmatism of the system perfectly. Things like honor, glory, heroic last stands, all of that is totally irrelevant. Survival is everything. The goal is to live, to fight another day, to win the long game, not just a single glorious battle. Okay, so we understand the board, we get the basic logic. Now let's look at the 6 primary moves a king can actually make in this grand game. Kautilya lays out 6 distinct methods of foreign policy. And this isn't some simple choice between war or peace. Oh no, this is a sophisticated toolkit for handling literally any geopolitical situation you could possibly face. Just look at the nuance here. This toolkit gives a ruler 6 different options. First, you've got peace, or santi, but you use it to buy time or lock in your gains, not out of goodwill. Then you have war, vigraha, which itself has options: open war, secret war, undeclared war. But what's really fascinating is the third one, neutrality, just staying quiet, observing, letting your enemies beat each other up while you grow stronger. And it keeps going, marching your troops to threaten an enemy, seeking an alliance when you're weak. And then there's my favorite, the double policy. That's where you make peace with one king specifically, so you're free to go and destroy another one. It's a complete system for any scenario. And this really captures the ultimate goal, doesn't it? Mastering this toolkit isn't just about surviving, it's about control. A truly skilled ruler can manipulate the entire geopolitical board, playing other kings like pieces, all bound by the chains of his intellect. So let's bring this all together. What Kautilya created wasn't just some book for his time. What we have here is an enduring blueprint for how power actually works. The fundamental principles are as simple as they are profound, right? Your location on the map tells you who to fight and who to befriend. Your strength, compared to theirs, tells you exactly what move to make. You've got 6 core strategies to pick from. And the objective? It's always the same. Survive, secure your state, and expand your power. Honestly, that's the best way to think about the Arthashastra's foreign policy. It's not some historical document you put in a museum. It's a timeless, logical framework. It's an operating system for understanding the dynamics of power between nations. Which, of course, leads us to our final thought. Just look at the world today. The alliances, the rivalries, the conflicts that always seem to be between neighbors. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? 2,300 years after Kautilya laid out his brutal calculus of power, has the fundamental game of nations really changed at all?